guys, what's up? It's my channel, and yes, don't mind me, please, I'm a mess. But we're gonna talk about fiber today because I had a friend that expressed some interest, and she was watching my videos, and she just was like, I can't believe it, how are you doing that? What are you doing? How is that working? What's going on? And so I'm gonna break it down for you. So I could go, let's say, for example, I could go shave my long-haired Maine Coon right now, and I could make fiber. I could make yarn out of his hair. Crazy, I know. I could go shave a sheep right now, do the same thing, except I probably wash it, and then, tumble it maybe. There are processes that could refine the hair, like comb it out, clean out all the naps and everything, all the little dirt pieces. So this right here is my hackle. It's my homemade hackle. If anybody wants directions on how to make this, I have a video on it. Plus I can actually probably send you the format, because what I did was I drew on a piece of paper where I wanted the holes, and so that all the nail width, with the nail width, it was going to be really, really good. And then I poked the holes through the paper with a pen, and I marked where I wanted to drill, and that's it. Bingo, bango, I got a hackle. Put a couple pieces of wood together with, some Gorilla Glue and stuff. So this part is merino wool. This part right here, these little shiny parts, is silk. I'm gonna pull that through, and I'm gonna put this on here because I want that to go over there. And this combed through is going to become top. These little pieces of purple, that's some, I believe it's merino wool, but I don't know because it came from a random source. So I just mixed that in there because I wanted it like that. So this is gonna make a purpley white pretty thing. I could do my other roving, which is all white. I got all white roving. I have silk, alpaca, mulberry, and I'm soon to get camel, hopefully, because I just love the thought of doing that. It sounds cool. So this is going to become top, and I'm going to pull this section by section through a diz, which is basically something with holes in it, and I'm going to pull it through the holes so it proportions correctly into this, so it will turn into roving. Okay, well, it is roving already, but technically it will become top roving, which top is when it's combed out and you bring it through the hole and it's like this. It's all pretty and, braidable, and it's not a big mess of clumping and nondescript, forms, whatever. So this is all top roving. And this is actually a pre-mixed batch because I bought it and it was already colored and it was already mixed, and it was that company's specific mix. Now, that being said, sorry, all the spray. So this comes from this specific company, and this yarn, this entire thing, comes from one of those top bushels, I'll say, so people can understand it. And that's where it comes from. So what I do is I separate it out, and it is all itsy bitsy, little teeny tiny, little loose fibers like that. And this is pretty loose. It's basically hair. I'm telling you, I could literally go shave my cat. I keep telling him I'm gonna do it because he's so soft and he's been being bad. So what I've been doing is I'm just trying to get the concept down because she expressed more attention to it. So she asked specific questions, so I'm trying to address those. So what this does is it spins the fiber, it spins this first line, which when you begin with just a regular string or something that's cut from like a piece of yarn or something that's cut from something else that's already pre-made and preset. Okay, so I start with a little piece that ends up like this long, and then I put a loop in it, and I would take this piece and I would put it over the loop and make my another loop. And once I spin this and this part goes around enough, it will spin enough energy in this to start reeling it in and sort of weaving it into the yarn. So I'm going to give you an example. So I have a lot of spin right here. So I have a lot of energy in there right now. So every time I let go of this, it's going to spin up whatever I let go right here. So I'm going to try to get a closer close-up for you guys. Hang on. Okay, so that's a pretty good back scene right there. Alright, so I'm going to spin it some more so I can get some spin energy in there. I'm going to fix this because I feel like it's too close. Can't really see it, but okay. So I take this end, right? This end that's all bushy and weird and fibery. And I'm going to take this end that's all bushy and fibery from a new strand. And since that part's long, I'm actually going to fold it over a little bit. So I'm going to take this and take this. I'm trying to get a good angle. And I'm going to put them together. And when I put them together, I'm going to stretch what I have right here a little bit so that it will kind of grab what's going on here. So I'm hoping this is enough for you to see because it's got a really dark background. So I'm going to spread that out so you can really see what's going on. So as soon as I let go, that starts grabbing those little fibers. So it's slowly grabbing that. I'm actually going to spin it some more. And I'm holding on to that top piece because I want there to be more energy. See? And see how it just grabbed up all these little hairs, all the stray hairs are all grabbed up right now. So this whole piece is now one piece of roving that it's thin enough, I can work with this. This is how thin I want my yarn. So I'm gonna take something wet, and this is called felting. When you take something wet and you put it to the fibers to make it go together. And I just like doing it to every seam just so that it's smooth and I know it's gonna stay there, it's gonna seal it up. I know it's gonna seal it up pretty good. So I literally just go, move my hand. I know you can see what's going on, hopefully, because I have the little bit of white in there and other colors. So when I don't have when I have too much spin energy in here, and I can tell it's starting to twist up a lot, then I usually just try to move my wheel in the same direction, but without moving the flyer, which is what carries the hooks. And the hooks are guiding hooks. They're just to guide it onto the bobbin. But you see how nicely of a job this did. And it's making my own yarn. Now see, I could smooth out all those little fur hairs and stuff when I apply it, or I could do it now while I'm weaving it, and you could use different things like carding spray or water. I use water. I have water mixed with a little bit of carding spray that I got from, I forgot where. It's in one of my videos. And lavender oil, because I wanted there to be a lavender scent to it. So this is literally what I'm doing. I'm turning actual fiber into yarn. And when I go like this, now this is going to show how this yarn is going to ply when I put it together and it bunches up. So if I put two of my yarns together, it's going to look like that, but way, way longer, because it'll be a whole entire spindle full of this exact twist. And that's your twist, and that's called your grist and your twist. That's what that is. So it's going to look really, really pretty when it's done, and it's going to look really, really smooth and pretty and be awesome to weave with and yarn and knit and all that stuff. So now when I pull it straight, I know that that's correct. And then I have all this. And I don't worry about those little bunches, because that was where I was checking to make sure that it was the right twist and grist. And look at how pretty this yarn turned out. And this is my first bobbin ever. It's crazy. But if you knit and you spin, well, if you knit and you crochet, I would definitely suggest you get into spinning, because I'm guaranteeing you're gonna love it. You'll probably love it. You might want to try it on a friend's wheel first, because you never know. You could just be one of those people that just, it doesn't take, you know. And this is my mix of wet. This is what I've been using. I put a little bit of thick drop of olive oil and water. It's just water and, you know, water and an essential oil that I like. And I was using my first spinning was done on a different bobbin, but I was using almond oil, and then I realized, oh my god, what if I make something for somebody with a nut allergy? Or even though I'm most likely going to wash the product, whatever I do make with it, the sweater or shawl or whatever I make with it, I'm probably going to end up washing it before I stick it to the cardboard, because you have to stick it to something while it's damp, after you've dried it all out. That's a whole separate deal, but you have to do that in order for it to form how you want it to form, the sweater or shawl or whatever it is. And I forget what it's called, but it's basically tacking it to a board. You know, you hand dunk it into this solution of your choice, or regular water if you want, and you stick it to a board with some needles or something, and it will form the shape of what you want. So with the baby blanket, I went rectangle because it's rectangle, you know. So I just wanted that to be an explanation of exactly what I'm doing. So anytime you lose your spot and you're spinning, my cat is going crazy, you don't have to really worry about it, because you're gonna put it all back together anyways, because you know, if this falls apart like see how this did? It just fell apart from the other piece. And I don't have to worry about it because there's another piece with another little frizzy spot, and that's what I'm going to connect it with, and that's it. And this is what spinning is. And the minute I'm done with this, I'm going to wrap it around my nitty knotty, which is another forming tool. And I'm going to wet down the nitty knotty and the yarn, and just damply, you know, and I'm gonna let that sit until it dries. You could also bang it out. Some people have unraveled this around their arm, like they're around their elbow and their hand, and done it the old school, and then they wrap it from there. They wrap it like that, and then they tie it together. They get it, you know, damp, wring it out, and then they bang it against a chair or, you know, something hard, you know, something hard but soft, just to get the excess water out. And then they hang it up overnight, and that forms the yarn, you know, the yarn skein, whatever. I don't know how it's pronounced either. So this is what this is. That's exactly the process. And I'm going to show you this because this is the flyer wheel right here, this U-shaped thing. This is the flyer wheel. And depending on where you put the yarn on these is where it's going to land in here. So, because I have a lot at this end already, I'm going to switch it up, and I'm going to put it on the 4th hook, and then now it can wrap around this area. It seems to be, with this one, I feel like I need extra hooks because kind of missing little spots here, but it's okay, I don't mind it. It'll ply very well, and I'll do a video on how I make my Lazy Kate. And the Lazy Kate, it basically holds a bunch of these bobbins. The bobbin is the actual thing that holds the yarn, and it's gonna hold a bunch of these, and I'm gonna get to ply with these. So when I ply, I'm gonna take 2 of the bobbins that I finished or more. I'm going to do this similar process, except I'm going to spin the opposite direction, and I'm going to put all 3 or 4 or 2 of the fibers together, and I'm going to, that's called plying, and that will make it into a compact yarn. Like, it will put all the fiber, all those bobbins together to make one thing of yarn, but that one thing of yarn will be thicker, bouncier, whatever, you know, whatever attributes you put into your yarn is what will come out in the plying process. And you always want to ply your yarn the opposite direction that you spin. So if you're spinning yarn and you want to ply it, spin it all the same direction. And they have all these terms for what direction, Z twist, S twist. I just go clockwise, not clockwise. And it seems to be working for me, so that's just what I've been doing. And I hope that explains a little bit of what she was asking me, because I think she was just confused on how this is actually happening. The how is the friction. It has to do with friction, twist, and think of it as microscopic weaving is what I would say it reminds me of, is microscopic weaving. It's like if I took human hair and I started twisting it into a dreadlock, that's basically sort of this process. And as I get to the end, I wet my 2 fingers, my pinchy fingers, and I go like this, and I take my other piece of fiber. And it doesn't matter, I don't really care where I put it on here because I just want it to grab. So I pull a little bit and I twist as I'm pulling, and it twists right back on there. And then I got a whole new fiber source, and that's it. See, and you can't even tell like it's a different piece of fiber. So that's what I do. That's how I roll. And have fun trying to wrap your head around that one, girly.